on wages, prices, and profits. Now, I know there are some people who say that this isn't any business of the President of the United States.
All right, guys, welcome back to a new episode of Two Moms, One Mic. I am Tania.
I'm Desiree.
And we are going to do a continuation of our birth stories that we did last week.
We're blast off from where you were talking. It was about your baby being small and stuff. But mine was different. So I was working with kids my whole life, basically, surrounded by kids. I did nannying, babysitting, tutoring, you name it. I was around kids. Even in school, like I did teaching as a profession, early child education. So I was just around kids a lot. So then when I had my own, it wasn't the problem that I couldn't take care of her. It was more like I know what to do. But it was more like,
the obligation.
Dang, I gotta take care of you for the rest of my life. Like, I can't give you back.
I think that's what it is too, because I'm definitely not as experienced with kids as you are, but
I'm sorry.
You're fine. I definitely had to, like, it's just the fact, like, I can't hand you back to your mother. Like, I'm the mother. Like even now, I be talking to him, it's like, bro, where is your mother? Then I'm like, girl, you're the mother. That was just mainly, like, one of the hardest parts. Like, at a certain point, that was the hardest parts. But in the beginning, it was, like, not feeling like that bond was there. Just feeling like I was forcing it or something. Like, or just, like, I don't know why I convinced myself that I didn't know what I was doing when, not gonna lie, it's pretty cookie cutter, like, being a parent. It's just the emotional part that I would say is the hard, but like feeding a kid, clothing a kid, that's the easiest part.
I do agree with that. I feel like when people think about young parents having kids, they really think about it like the financial aspect. But I feel like if you're financially aware and everything and you're setting yourself up, I mean, hey, things happen.
And it's so much more, not saying that you shouldn't, you know what I'm saying, be financially stable at least when you have a kid, but it's so much more that goes into producing a functioning member of society.
Literally.
Like,
it's not just we popping out babies and, all of a sudden they're their own person. Right. No, you have to nurture that person.
You have to build that person up. Like, literally form them into an upstanding citizen in society.
It's literally like you're the product of your environment. And like noticing that, like even when I hear you're a product of your own environment, it's like I can see that like within myself. So it's like the way you already see how vocal Ava is, first of all. That's just because I be constantly talking to her. Like I literally had the most randomest conversation with her. I'm just like, oh really? Yeah, that's cool. Right. What about that? And, like, I point to some random thing. Like, yeah. And then she answers, like, it's so cool. And then she'll sometimes tell me no. I'm like, it's just so cool to see your baby absorb the world and, like, grow up. I feel like not enough people talk about that. It's so, I don't know how to describe it. It makes you not only feel good as a parent, but it's just like they're their own person.
It's pretty surreal.
Yeah, it's surreal.
It's like June, like, he's not to the point of like talking as much as Ava, but he'll say like,
vocal.
Hi, yeah, and like mama, dada.
He's saying mama now?
You was so mad. It's more like a na na mama, like with a little lisp, but it's how like fuck it, mama. Okay, I'll take it. But even now, like he does his own thing, like crawling around, trying to stand, like moving around. Like,
hey, that boy a track star for real.
Sometimes, like I just be looking, I'm like, you're playing with toys. Just a couple months ago, you wasn't able to do nothing. You wasn't able to sit up. You wasn't able to roll over. You wasn't able to do nothing.
You was just on your back crying.
And surprisingly, he cried a lot less. Well, okay, because, you know, June used to cry a lot. But now he's gotten better. But before, I don't know what it is. Like, when he was first born, he would just sleep, like most newborns. But then, like, I say after he got his first set of vaccines, he just took a turn. Like, I don't know what happened.
Do you think it's the vaccines?
I don't want to get too political, but I believe that it probably could have had something to do with it. Yeah.
Maybe it's just like him, but also like the reaction to the vaccines as well.
Yeah, because he wasn't premature, but he was born earlier than like 40 weeks. He was born at 32 weeks exactly.
Oh wow!
So
that could be.
It's probably just too young for everything. Like at the moment, like
that makes a good point.
Because even the milk, I keep seeing stuff on like Instagram, like ask, like, was your baby premature and felt cow's milk, or, you know what I'm saying, something like this? You may be entitled to hold the fuck on. Like, because he has, like, it's basically like digestive problems that they're talking about. It's like, he has these problems, and like, what the fuck? That's something else I want to talk about. How we're kind of, I'm not going to say forced to have our children, like, forced to be induced, because they were telling me that June was too little, and they was like, you can't carry him to 40 weeks, basically. But they was like, you can carry him into full term, which is 32, 36, 36. Well, that's when he was born, 36 weeks. They was like, you can't carry him past that, or something's gonna, you know what I'm saying? But I kept like asking, like, why? They could never give me an explanation. It was just like, well, he's just little.
Was he not like, was he breached? Like, what's
he was fine. He was just a little baby.
So they just like induced you for their convenience? You know, actually, that's not surprising.
I feel like they was just in a rush to get money. And of course, you get more money when you're inducing somebody, you're giving them more medicine, you're doing all these things. They're in the hospital.
And they weren't listening to you on top of that.
They weren't listening to me at all. And then we discussed that in a previous episode about how they don't really, you know what I'm saying, our voices aren't heard in the medical field, especially as Black women.
No.
And we got a lot of feedback off of that content in particular. And I really want to touch bases on that. Like, I don't know, I just feel like the more and more, like, I'm aware of things, and like the longer I've been a mother, is like I kind of realize like how much like fucked up shit I've went through with the medical side of things, like being literally forced into having my child when that's not something that I wanted to do. I was not selfishly, but like I just didn't feel like it was necessary. I was willing to take the risk of keeping him into 40 weeks because I personally, there was nothing wrong with him.
I think that's what like doctors hone in on too. Like your first child, and you're also 20.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing. And I kind of felt that from my doctor. Because I had a Black doctor, but I didn't feel like it was a more like a racial thing. Because all my nurses were very pleasant, but it was an age thing with me.
Right.
I felt like they were trying to tell me what to do, but I'm like, dude, I know how to take care of children already. Stop telling me what I already know.
And don't tell me about my own body.
Exactly. Don't tell me what I feel, what doesn't feel right, or what feels good. Like, don't do that. I'm the one in the vulnerable position. Like, I'm having the baby. All these people are seeing up everything. Like, not just, it's just crazy.
I feel like as well, like one thing that I want to speak on is like how I felt ignored, not only in the birthing process, but like in the pregnancy stage, like going to doctor's appointments, expressing concerns about certain things. Oh, that's normal. Oh, if it keeps happening, just come back in the week. And of course they can't give you medicine and do anything like that. But like, I feel like they should have offered, you know what I'm saying, something instead of just sending me on about my way. Because what if something did happen, you know what I'm saying? God forbid, like what if I did lose my child or whatever the case was? That would have been on their hands, but of course they wouldn't care.
And it's kind of sad because the medical field is already, first of all, it's a business. That's how you have to look at the medical care system. Yeah, their purpose is for serving people, but at the end of the day, they're a business.
They're serving people to put you back in there so they can keep making money.
Exactly. So the first thing they're worried about is not the patient. Right. It's not patient based. It's literally money based.
How much can I get from this? Like,
exactly. How much can I tax on? If you have a baby ever, go ahead and get an itemized bills. That bill will show you, $4,000 for skin to skin contact with the dad. That's crazy.
You gonna charge me for holding my own baby? And if you call them, because my sister literally just did that. She called them and she was like, "Can I get an itemized bill?" Girl, they bumped her shit down, and then they wouldn't even tell her like what they took off or what was on the bill initially. They wouldn't tell her that at all.
Because they just tax random shit on there.
And she's paying out of pocket for her doctor's visits. Yeah, so it's just like, what? Her bill, I think it was like $800, and it went down to like $1 something.
Exactly,
literally.
And it's so drastic too. So if you ever having a baby, go ahead and get that bill because you might be paying how much is it cost in America? Like,
it cost me $40,000 to have my baby.
That's around it. My insurance covered most of it. Actually, I think all of it, actually.
Yeah, mine did too.
But that's still a crazy amount.
Actually,
it's ridiculous.
I think it was a little more. It was maybe like 45-ish because I was there so long.
But then think about those babies that have to go to the NICU.
Right.
Those babies are costing at least $100,000 right there. That's literally not even a down payment on a house. That's more than a down payment on a house.
And I feel like, of course, they don't care. They, as in the medical or whoever the fuck is behind this shit, they don't really care about us as people. Like you said, they look at us as dollar signs. But I feel like just that alone, like, you know, children having to be in the NICU and like those medical bills, that starts to make a divide between family structures. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's pretty fucking selfish.
But that's just contributing to the system. Because then you have, I feel like, okay, the way I look at it, it's just all a system. Right. All of it's just playing the game of the business. You know, they're going to keep a certain level of people here and a certain people level here. So if you can pay for it, oh, cool, I'm going to get your money, go on your seat way. Right. And, you know, people not going to worry about it. But then you have other people who are literally stressing about this, didn't know this was going to happen because you literally don't know when you're pregnant and when you have that baby. So many things can happen, so many things can go wrong, and you just never know. And so I get like people say, you know, you need to be financially secure and everything, but what about those people who are financially secure and then something happens where their baby has to be in the NICU and then
some things
they
you can't plan for.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and that's like even becoming pregnant sometimes, that's not something that people do or not. Most people don't have kids on purpose. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And even if they aren't taking the necessary precautions or whatever, like that's still probably wasn't their intentions. And even then, after you find out you're pregnant, it's certain beliefs and certain aspects that goes into your decision of making that baby. Like some people religiously don't believe in abortions or whatever the case may be.
That's what I was just gonna say. That's what I was going to tie to, because then you see those people who don't want abortions, but like, first of all, are you having the baby?
Who's gonna care for this baby? Care?
And then the foster care system already fucked up as it is.
Girl,
I don't want I'm sorry, but why would I, if I don't want a child, why would I put myself in a position where I have to be there to sacrifice my body, my time, my mental space to have that baby, worry about it afterwards, because you're mentally fucked after having a baby.
Right.
Your brain literally chemically changes, and then let me give my baby away.
Right.
That works for some people, and that's completely okay.
And I feel like that,
but that should not be a solution to abortions.
And even then, because I personally, like, especially in like my younger years, I have friends that were in the foster care system, and it was like it was pretty fucking bad.
It's bad.
And I just feel like there's no real solution. I feel like I stand very strongly like on my body, my choice, because bitch, getting a little too passionate. At the end of the day, I'm the one, like, this is my life at the end of the day. I'm going to be the one waking up in the middle of the night. I'm going to be making bottles or breastfeeding. I'm going to be the one putting my life on the line, sacrificing everything. Not you, bitch. You and your fucking poster can go to hell. Like, I don't care. Like, don't tell me.
But what's crazy, they don't want to listen to science either. So mind you, look, guys, I took early child education. I learned how a fetus is literally developed from being a literal egg to an actual baby. The heartbeat develops first, it beats and everything, but it's still a fetus at that point because it's not alive. It's not alive even if it has a heartbeat. Scientifically speaking,
consciousness it's not that makes something alive?
I feel like it is, because the fetus doesn't have a nervous system developed. They can't feel anything.
Wait, let me ask you this.
They can't feel anything.
Let me ask you this.
All right, go ahead.
Do you think, since a baby, you know what I'm saying, that's a baby, you think if you pushed out that fucking clump of cells, somebody gonna go over there and rock it to sleep and feed it all night?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
What?
It looks like a clump of cells.
You would be freaked out. You would be freaked out if you seen that shit. You wouldn't call you. I bet you right now we could put a picture of
the actual fetus,
like a clump of cells and some bullshit.
You can literally see. You can literally see the difference from when it's a fetus to when it's a baby. And I consider, like, the lungs and brain aren't developed until about 20-something weeks.
And I didn't know that personally until I
weeks.
became pregnant. Like,
exactly.
A lot of the things that these children need, like eyes and all of this shit, like, that's not there.
They don't develop till way later.
Well, it's not there yet. They may have limbs, and even then they look like little tadpoles. They don't got no arms. They're like, y'all, if y'all look up a picture of a fetus, I say about 16, 18 weeks. It's ugly as hell. It looked like
it's not a baby yet. It
looked like a little shrimp with a big ass head, and then like don't got no legs, no arms, but the arms like this.
It's like a T-Rex.
Like you would not want to take care of that. Like you would not call that a baby.
And I feel like that's what's crazy to me, because people don't like to take science into their opinions. I'm like, how can you make an opinion about something if you're not educated on it?
A lot of shit these days. It's just based in religion.
It literally is. But what's crazy is like, I don't agree with it, so you shouldn't agree with it. That's crazy to me.
And I feel like everybody entitled to their own opinion, because I'm not, like, if somebody sat right here and told me, like, I don't believe in abortions, I'm not going to grill you. I'm not going to, it's not a baby. I'm going to be like, I respect your decision, but me personally, I'm getting rid of that motherfucker.
Because personally, like, when I got pregnant, I didn't want an abortion.
Right.
When I got pregnant, even though I knew Ava was technically a fetus, like, girl,
there was still a connection.
It was still a connection, because it's just like, oh my God, no, I want this baby. This is my baby.
Right.
Like, but people who say this is my baby, they truly feel that. And that's valid as fuck. Like, that's valid. But to sit here and say, oh, no, you can't have abortions because I don't agree with that. Or, no, it's a baby. Scientifically speaking, it's not a baby. It's a clump of cells. Personally, people can feel like it's a baby because they're the ones connecting with it. They're the ones that feel it. They're the ones who are experiencing those emotions.
Right.
But on an outsider's perspective, girl, what baby is that? That's a clump of cells.
Right. And I'm the person, like, I'm all for abortions, but personally, I wouldn't get one. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
and that's just because I'm emotionally weak.
Exactly.
I'm not even gonna lie. I put it all out there, y'all. I'm sensitive. I'm a crybaby. I'm all of that.
I feel like we're gonna cry on this episode at one point. On an episode at one point.
I don't plan on doing that.
I feel like I will.
But like, yeah, we probably will. I'm not gonna lie. But I just feel like I'm for the
women.
I'm for self-advocation. I'm for just knowing what you want. I don't really give a fuck what, like, whether you're gay, straight, orange, purple, green, I don't care. Like, I'm not going home with you. I'm not in your body. I'm not experiencing your experiences. I don't care. But I'm also a person to where I care.
You care enough, but not care to...
I show sympathy to your situation, but I'm not going to take that home with me and be like, this bitch got a fucking abortion. I can't believe it. Like, that's not my baby. I'm not the pappy. Okay. I'm not the pappy.
Literally. Because even like stigmas within being young parents and stuff, but then you don't want to have abortions available, and then you're mad about that. You can have an abortion at any age.
Did you see that we They took back that 6-week thing. Now we can have...
Is it 18 weeks still?
Don't know, because I'm not really interested in abortions right now. So I haven't looked it up. But
I think it went up to 20-something weeks, actually, in Georgia.
I think it used to be 20 weeks before they changed it. But I'm not sure.
Look, all I know is that, if the whole, like, nation, they're like, you can't have no abortion, girl, I'm not finna be in this country.
Girl. Nah, I ain't gonna leave the country, girl. I'm gonna do that shit at home. I'm gonna do that shit at home.
No, we're not.
Abortions by Keisha. No,
we're not promoting that.
I'm just kidding.
That's what
that's what it's gonna lead to.
It's
like you take these things away from people, and
they're gonna find solutions.
It opens doors for harmful solutions, more deadly solutions. There's children
out here.
What they
want, though.
There's children.
That's literally what they want.
There's literally like children in elementary school getting S-aid and all of these different things who can't get rid of their children.
I'm gonna say something like out of pocket. Please don't get offended. Like, this is just general. Like, I'm gonna say something out of pocket.
Girl, this whole shit is out of pocket.
Okay, so kind of my thing, I feel like, you know how like white people are kind of becoming the minority?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, in a certain way.
I didn't know where it was going here. Okay, I'm listening. I'm following.
I feel like because I feel like they're pushing this abortion stuff. It's because not a lot of people are having like white babies. Yeah. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
You feel like
I
that too?
wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, no lie, I agree with that.
I agree with, because everyone's becoming some type of mixture.
Mm-hmm. No, okay. Sorry. But like, I agree.
We not gonna go too deep.
We're not trying to get canceled before we get to where we need to be. So we just gonna stop it right there.
Real, okay, guys.
We're just gonna stop it right there, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to this very, very, very interesting episode of Two Moms, One Mic. I am Tania.
I'm Desiree.
And mic drop.
See you next week.
And